economist who understands modern finance is the biggest advocate of a bigger role for financial capitalism in India. But for the life of me, I cannot understand and defend 1/3 of the lifetime savings of a pension participant going away to the distributor and the fund manager. So you cannot sell the claim that a simple free market job will work. It does not work. I can show you country after country after country. You need to work harder.
Ajay, one interjection. I actually agree with the philosophy you're espousing. The issue only is this, that if we don't want to convert this into a push product, and I completely agree with the problems of a push product, then as a nation, as a society, we must be comfortable with not pushing the inclusion agenda at a rapid fire speed, because there is a conflict there between letting it evolve on its own without push, and I hear you on that, and the conflict side, which is to somehow rapidly do a road roller approach to covering everyone at a speed which doesn't happen on its own. So we have to handle the dilemma.
So I'm with you 100%. That's exactly what I'm saying. And I want to link up to the pensions question which you raised earlier. I can't show you too many countries in the world where there has been a significant adoption in unorganized sector on a voluntary basis of a pension product without corrosive sales practices, which actually fundamentally undermine that pension product. Mandatory systems are terribly important. I mean, the first project in Indian pension reforms has got to be civil servants and EPFO. And that's where we will score the bulk. That's where we will get giant sums of money in. And that's where our focus should be. The unorganized sector thing is nice to try. It will grow slowly. It will grow at its own pace. Again, if I may make an analogy, when we started exchange-traded derivatives trading in India in the early 2000s, it could have been the case that the thing had floundered. It could have floundered. Maybe the time was not right. Maybe in the late 70s, if you had started index futures trading with cash settlement, the thing would have floundered. And I would be skeptical about a steamroller approach, saying I want financial inclusion tomorrow. Because maybe we should respect something about the market, about the product, and give it time. And when people want it, the fellows in Aurangabad will mobilize Mercedes-Benz to give them 134 Mercedes-Benzes and a distributor and a repair shop in Aurangabad. So I think that I would respect some of the realities of the economy. As a policy economist, I would always ask, what are the public goods that are required to create a platform? Can platforms be created? And is the government getting in the way? So if you can get the government out of the way, that's precious. For example, if a government bans exchange-traded derivatives and you remove that ban, that's great. That's a valuable role for policy. If there are policy impediments like what was holding back telecom, we should definitely remove that. If there are platforms that need to be created, like the mutual fund platform, like the Central Record Keeping Agency, then there is a policy role for that. But after that, I actually fall into the camp of saying, then you should let things simmer.
You mentioned the SKS experiment, right? So the whole MFI, at least to my understanding, the MFI business grew in sort of an unregulated environment. There was no regulation, nothing, and as it happens with a lot of these things, some of these things won't, the evolution will never be smooth. Mistakes will happen, abuses will happen. Joseph was also sort of saying that we need to have a tolerance for failure and stuff like that. But there's a political reality that if something does well, and it sort of gets into some problems in the margin or whatever, the politics that drives regulation will go overboard, right? So, and there's nothing that we can do as sort of, policy